Hello fellow sim racers, Assetto Corsa mod fans and people that correctly identified the year 2004 as the peak of human achievement. Today I'm taking a look at the newly released Lamborghini Murcielago R-GT for Assetto Corsa. Just as the Formula E race kicked off last night, I got an email from the guys at Race Sim Studio to tell me that the latest car in the GT pack had just been released. So once Rosenquist is effectively retired from a well-deserved and commanding lead, I fired up the PC and started downloading the new Lambo V12. And that's the last time I'm going to refer to that car using this name. That being said, there does appear to be a bit of confusion surrounding what this car actually is, with a lot of people simply referring to it as the Murcielago GT1, which brings up a wider point of confusion. The sim racing community is collectively calling the cars in the RSS GT pack GT1 cars, which is, well, only sort of true. Looking at the cars in the pack, there's only 1 year of the FIA GT Championship that it could properly represent, and that's 2004. That was the last year the Viper competed and the first year for the Lambo. So that entirely pedantic point that I'm meandering towards here is that the GT1 class didn't exist until 2005. In fact, prior to 2005, the class was simply referred to as GT. Hence, the Lamborghini we're talking about here is the Murcielago R-GT, not the Murcielago GT1, which was a later car. So, moving on to something that you might actually care about. Is it any good? Well, simply put, yes. Starting with the 3D model, this thing's a work of art. Externally, it looks great, and careful attention has clearly been paid to the subtleties of the Murcielago's complex shape. And maybe because the Lambo's got a more interesting interior than the other cars in the RSS GT pack, but if anything, this car's a step up from the other three. Now, that's not to knock the Viper, the Lister Storm and the Ferrari, which are all great cars, but the Murcielago's simply excellent in this regard. Moving on to the sound, that Lambo V12 sounds pretty great if you ask me, even with the apparent limitations of Assetto Corsa's audio engine. The car just sounds fantastic, like all of the other cars in the RSS GT pack. In fact, while it sounds good inside, the external sounds are even better. For me, what made the first three cars in the RSS GT pack special was that they were more challenging to drive than your average GT car. Now, when I say challenging, I don't mean that they handled like a giraffe on an ice rink. No, the first three GT cars in the pack were fast, poised, but required a delicate touch. They required concentration to drive and a delicate right foot. And the Lamborghini is no different in that regard. The default setup does tend slightly towards understeer than other cars, which you may expect, and it has to be said the other cars are a bit of a tail-happy bunch. I did have one issue with the Murcielago, and it's something in common with the other cars in the pack. That is that they're extremely sensitive to tyre temperatures. Getting the car set up such that the front and rear tyres are all in the right pressure and temperature range is a bit of an art. The Lambo's got plenty of power, so it's pretty easy to overheat the rears by being a bit too ambitious. At the same time, your front tyres may still be at room temperature. With a little bit of setup work, however, I got everything playing nicely in the end, and that's probably how it should be. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that the Kunos cars are very much set up and ready to drive most of the time, whereas the RSS cars do need a little bit more tweaking in my opinion. I haven't had the car long enough to form an opinion as to how the Lambo stacks up against the others, the Lister, the Viper and the Ferrari, in terms of raw pace, but from the few races I've had against the AI, it definitely appears to be in the ballpark. So, if you pre-ordered the pack before Christmas like me, then you can go and download the Murcielago right now for free. But if you haven't yet bought the RSS GT pack, notice I say yet, you can go and purchase the 6 cars for €15. Now, to be clear, the Ferrari 575 and the Celine haven't yet been released and they're expected later in the year. Now, these cars are a little more expensive than the Kunos DLC cars, but honestly, I think they're more than worth the price. The care and the attention that's gone into crafting these cars is obvious, and without trying to sound hyperbolic, they're amongst the best cars available in Assetto Corsa. So, all in all, the Lambo makes a fine addition to Assetto Corsa and to the FIA GT class in general. I, for one, can't wait for the Celine and the Ferrari 575. By the time we've got the whole pack, we're going to have a great representation of the early 2000s GT scene. Hopefully, as the more cars get released, more interest will grow, and maybe these beastly GT dinosaurs can break the hegemony that GT3 has on online racing. Fingers very much crossed. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. And until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.